The St Helens crowd know that their team was runners-up to Wigan in the Championship last season. As they approach this game today, they're second in the table again. The side that they hope will bring the Championship to Knowsley Road. It looks like this. David Lyon is the full-back. On the wing, Great Britain and England international Alan Hunt. Similar story about Gary Connolly in the centres. The New Zealander Jared McCracken takes his place at 4. And the Welsh and Great Britain international Anthony Sullivan is on the wing in 5. At half-back, it's a New Zealand combination. Tia Rapati is the standoff. And the club captain, Shane Cooper, is the scrum half. Up front, few changes brought about by travel problems for Kevin Ward, so Jonathan Neal takes his place at 8. Augustino O'Donnell is the hooker, the man signed from Wigan, in 9. And George Mann, the Kiwi, is in 10. John Harrison is in the second row. He wears 11. Sonny Nicol comes back into the side. He is in 12. And Chris Joint fills in for Shane Cooper at loose forward, Cooper having moved up to scrum half. And the coach for St Helens, the New Zealander, Mike McLennan. Sheffield Eagles, last season's second division championship and premiership winners. A double. They beat Oldham at Old Trafford. And they were at Old Trafford for the second time in 4 years. They don't want to be there again in the near future. They're aiming high, the Eagles, and their fullback is Gary Jack. Mark Gamson is on the wing. He wears 2. Richard Price, formerly with Hull, is in the centre in 3. And David Maiko returns to the side after a 3-week absence because of injury. He's in 4. David Plange is on the wing, former Castleford man, in 5. Errol Powell is the club captain. He's the standoff half in 6. And Mark Aston is the scrum half. He'll wear 7 and he'll kick the goals. Up front, Paul Broadbent, who joined the British tour in Australia during the summer. He's in 8. Mick Cook is one of the unsung hookers in the First Division, according to the Sheffield Eagles officials. And Dale Lawton completes the front row. He wears 10. It's an Australian lineup. In the second row, Bruce Maguire wears 11. And Paul Carr, 5 tries in his last 3 matches. He's in 12. And Anthony Farrell completes the lineup at loose forward. And the Sheffield Eagles coach is Gary Hetherington. Big welcome for Shane Cooper, who leads out the St Helens team. Saints second in the table at the moment. Big match for them, this. They're anxious to get back on the rails after a couple of recent hiccups in their race for the championship. And this is the way the substitutes will look today. Jonathan Griffiths, who of course played for Wales against England on Friday, and Kevin Ward on the bench for St Helens. Ward, problems with the travel from Castleford over the top of the Pennines. It's been very foggy today, and Ward held up and so has to take his place on the bench. And for the Eagles, Tim Lum, they're signing from Hunslet, and Ian Hughes, the man who was playing in the centre last week, but David Maiko back fit again, and so Hughes takes his place at 15. Sonny Nicol, a big day for him, playing against his former club, signed for St Helens from Sheffield Eagles in July 1991. He was an under-21 international with the Eagles. He was a Lions tourist last summer with St Helens. And the first chance for us on Sky Sports to see David Lyon in his new colours. £90,000 signing from Warrington. Made his debut against Salford 2 weeks ago. Began his career at Widnes. The last line of the St Helens defence facing the Sheffield Eagles, who emerge. And how well they have done. And perhaps a lot of the encouraging start to this season goes down to this man, Gary Jack. Signed in the summer from Balmain, 2 grand finals in Australia, the 1986 Kangaroo and a 1988 World Cup winner with Australia. Talking to him before the match, he really does fancy the Eagles' chances here today to cause something of an upset and come here to Knowsley Road and win this match. And Paul Carr, perhaps the most unsung of the Australian imports, the second rower, 5 tries in his last 3 matches. He joined from Hunslet during the summer. He is Australian. 22 tries, though, last season. He was the best try-scoring forward in the Rugby League. Match referee is Stuart Cummings from Widnes, 32-year-old, the man who had control of the divisional premiership at Old Trafford last season, featuring Sheffield Eagles and Oldham. No stranger to the big occasion, the match referee, Stuart Cummings. Well, thankfully, it's a dry day. It's a bitterly cold day, though. And Darryl Powell coming on as a substitute for England on Friday against the Welsh. And no doubting his determination to get a couple of points for Sheffield Eagles here at St Helens this afternoon. Bitterly cold day, very little wind, and Mike Stevenson conditions perfect for what we hope will be an open and attacking game.
Well, both sides love to keep this ball alive, throw it around a little bit. And I'm sure that we'll be in for a glut of points.
Shane Cooper, St Helens captain, ever present in the Saints lineup this season. The Kiwi is exempt from the overseas rota now, and we're underway here at Knowsley Road. Grey day, floodlights on from the start. And Tia Rapati. O'Donnell, man signed as a hooker, as a scrum half, of course, rather, now playing as an emergency hooker. Bernard Dwyer is injured. There he is, O'Donnell again, ex-Wiganer. St Helens crowd just a little quiet as this match gets underway. Remembering, of course, that last time Sky Sports was here, they were well and truly turned over by Bradford Northern. This is a good run from David Plange of the Eagles, cutting in from the wing.
So important that Sheffield get off to a flying start. That's not what they wanted.
Ball went backwards, says referee Cummings. Allows the Eagles to carry on.
Well, I think they were lucky to get away with that one.
Here's Anthony Farrell. That's the last one. Ashton will hoist the midfield bomb. And it goes straight back to Ashton. He was clobbered immediately by Shane Cooper. Lost the possession, and so St Helens can bring it away.
Great tackle, Shane Cooper, on there, and referee Stuart Cummings. You can see on the replay. Oh. And an emergency halfback, of course, Shane Cooper. Normally plays in the number 13 shirt.
It's a penalty to St Helens. Chris Joint, the loose forward, was not allowed to get to his feet, and so play is now on halfway, and with Jonathan Neal. O'Donnell again is the dummy half. This is Cooper and George Mann. Cooper, good play. You notice, by the way, many of the St Helens players wearing these long white cycle shorts which have been flown into the country especially for St Helens. Cooper's wearing them, and he's off on a run now, and that's David Lyon chiming in. That's a great play from Lyon. Rapati, first try Saints. Tia Rapati, wonderful season the New Zealand is having. That's his 12th try of the season.
Stones Bit Championship replay. Wonderful play by the hooker, really, Augustine O'Donnell, to keep this ball alive. It looks as though the ball is going to be dead, but look how he squeezes it out there. There's three Sheffield would-be tacklers, and Cooper the step, the dummy, and great support play by the fullback David Lyon. And this man really is having a great season. Tia Rapati, good support play, but that all came about by excellent play by the number 9, Augustine O'Donnell. Three would-be tacklers were sucked into him. When you do that and get the ball away, it's inevitable that the gap will appear. It did, and what a start for the Saints.
So David Lyon, he's the man now with the attempt at the conversion. Began his St Helens career with 3 goals at Salford a fortnight ago, followed up with 2 last week, and this is a simple chance, and he makes no mistake. So Rapati's try, he's scored now in his last 3 outings, and Saints off to a great start.
Well, let's see the bird's eye view. There's a little hooker, Augustine O'Donnell. Quite a few of the Saints players playing out of position. this man as well. Normally plays in loose forward. Good support play there by the fullback David Lyon. And as is this, Tia Rapati.
Rapati tries in his last three then, and also a drop goal from him. Won the Regal Trophy tie against Leeds. 15-14. And his confidence, as you can see, is sky high.
He would have to be nominated as the best player playing in England at this point in time. He's had a tremendous season.
Now Sonny Nicol against his former teammates, met firmly and squarely though by Farrell and Mark Aston. Lyon stabs one over the top. Gary Jack's watching it all the way. Oh, fingertip stop from the Aussie. Look at the wall of St Helens players who were there to meet him. And Gary Jack takes it to himself, and then, well, they're saying that St Helens weren't standing square at the play of the ball.
Well, they weren't. Jonathan Neal here, there you can see, took a step to the side. But perhaps a lot of the crowd thought that Gary Jack played it sideways, and I think on the replay, they were proved correct.
Old head, isn't he, Gary Jack? Very experienced.
He's certainly proved the difference since he's arrived at Sheffield. As soon as he came into the side, Sheffield Eagles really did lift in confidence.
This is Paul Carr, one of the other Aussies, and he finds another Maguire, but he was grounded and tackled, and he got the pass into Maguire, not allowed.
Well, it really was poor play there by Paul Carr. It's obviously that he had been tackled by the loose forward Chris Joynt, leaving the referee no option whatsoever. He knows he's made a bad mistake. It's not what the doctor needed, not what Sheffield needed either.
A penalty given, of course, because the ball was in the arm that touched the ground. So a definite penalty. Look out for these quick play the balls, and the directive from the Rugby League. Stuart Cummings very hot on it, and the way he marches them back the full 10 yards as well. This is George Mann. Mann exploiting the space ahead of him. Did they get in the corner? Connolly's claiming the try. Referee and touch judge have a chat, and the referee Cummings says Connolly can have the 4 points. Good refereeing that. There was a right scramble over on that far side. Wonderful run, good support from Connolly, and the discussion, well, proves positive for Saints.
Stones bit of championship replay. We'll see the big fella, George Mann. He really did go low then. There was no chance of Anthony Farrell going for him. The ball went out wide. Gary Connolly finished it too. It was Cooper that shouted for the blind side. This is how to come onto it. And look at the strength there. Farrell just couldn't handle that. Gary Connolly took the right option too. He went low very, very early. Little bit of doubt perhaps about the pass, but in the mind of the referee, Stuart Cummings, he went to the touch judge. The touch judge said yes, and the 4 points come to St Helens.
Gary Connolly with stitches in the chin. Legacy of the Wales-England battle you saw exclusively on Sky Sports on Friday night. And David Lyon, having kicked one from right in front of the posts, now has this difficult conversion attempt from the far side. Discussion under the post. The Eagles have been hit, and hit hard here early on. Lyon's conversion's on the way. The crowd are hopeful. Oh, that's a great kick. A little buzz of expectancy went up from the crowd as that ball left Lyon's boot, and it sailed over.
The aerial view will show this wonderful way that Mann went down, used his strength. And you notice there how Connolly, he went low very early. You realise that the cover defence was coming across at him. Good thinking.
So what a start for St Helens. Ahead here now by 12 points to nil. Just 9 minutes or thereabouts on the watch, and the Eagles arrived with such high hopes, such optimism, such confidence. Start like that's enough to knock the stuffing out of anybody. Nicol running strongly. Support is there from Sullivan. And they can't get hold of him. Sullivan, great run, weaving this way and that.
Excellent play by St. Helens. They really are swinging this ball around.
Connolly. Oh, great stuff from Connolly. Finds Rapati. Rapati just got away with it. And this is wonderful stuff from St. Helens, the way they keep the ball alive. They're still trying to force the pace. And it's back to 6 more. It was a Sheffield Eagles arm that got into it. Chris Joint now.
Oh, the Sheffield defence is just ripped to shreds.
Cooper. Oh, that one looked a bit forward. Harrison. O'Donnell. And Jonathan Neal. Cooper. Nicol was the decoy. They found Connolly. Connolly stands in the tackle, just tries to pass it inside to Rapati. But knock on is the referee's decision. But applause from this Nosey Road crowd for the quality of St. Helens' attack.
Yeah, you can see Rapati there. It was going a little bit too low there by Connolly. But excellent play by St. Helens. They've often been classed as the entertainers. Well, the opening minutes, what more could you ask for?
Of course, Bradford Northern beat St. Helens here 35-18 on November the 1st. And the Saints also went and lost at Lee, and that defeat could really have serious repercussions as they chase their first league title in 17 years. But their championship ambitions well and truly back on tracks now. They've won successive matches away from home at Salford and the revenge at Bradford last Sunday. And they know that Wigan are due here on Christmas Sunday, the day after Boxing Day. A match, incidentally, you can see live and exclusive right here on Sky Sports. This is Farrell. This now is the hooker, Mick Cook. Paul Carr, it's the last tackle. Gary Jack at dummy half. Aston will dab one over the top for the corner.
Nice kick by the number 7. They'll be pretty pleased by that passage of play, Sheffield, especially after being hit with that whirlwind start by St. Helens. Really is the first time that Sheffield has gone into any sort of pattern.
And their job now is simply to keep St. Helens down there. Hunt has drifted infield off his wing. Here's George Mann. Cooper. Penalty. The man coming in as the Cooper was grounded, dropping on him.
They see Dale Lawton, the prop forward, and they're making it very clear indeed, these referees. The flopper will be penalised. Doesn't matter how many times you shake your head, he knows he's done wrong.
There's Jonathan Neal. Looking down this St. Helens lineup, plenty of overseas stars, and the Rugby League are, there's one of them, Cooper, and there's another Man. The Rugby League, although Cooper is off the list as far as overseas stars are concerned, Rugby League wanting to reduce the number from 3 to 2 to give young British players a better chance.
Well, unfortunately, it is a fact that the major positions on the football field are going normally to overseas players.
Something the Rugby League want to stamp out and encourage youngsters like Chris Joint, only 20 years old, substitute for England on Friday night, and encourage this player too, Sonny Nicol. Players like him.
I've been very impressed with St. Helens' opening, especially in the forwards. As they hit the defenders, they're turning in the tackle, and there's plenty of support.
Another foreigner, the Kiwi, Tia Rapati, his kick over the top, just running dead in goal. What about that attempt by the league, Mike, to reduce it from 3 to 2? It's got to be good for the future of the British game anyway, but let's hope we don't lose too many of these very attractive Australian and New Zealand stars.
Well, I suppose it's whether we cut the throat or whether we're going to do it for the fans or are we doing it for the betterment of the game. There's good and bad from either side. But at least they're going to try. And that can only benefit the juniors of this country.
Darryl Powell to Gary Jack. Gary Jack going nowhere under pressure from Connolly, one of the outstanding young players in the British game. But he managed to get the ball away then to Farrell. It was Mark Aston who was being tackled, and here's Mark Aston again now, has joined in the attack once more.
The thing that Sheffield must do is not panic, really. I know they're being hit by a whirlwind, but they've got to get their confidence slowly and surely.
Ball flew out on the full.
Not happy there. The skipper, Darryl Powell. And you could hear the St. Helens players shouting not to touch that ball.
So 15 minutes of this match gone. St. Helens 12, Sheffield Eagles 0. Saints hitting them with 2 tries early on. And they've seen so much of the ball in the opening quarter hour here that the score really could have been a lot worse from an Eagles point of view. Jonathan Neal. Cooper. Rapati.
Well, Rapati there looking for the second phase of attack. The gap really did open up, but there was just nobody there.
Nice little chip over the top, though, from Gus O'Donnell.
Talented footballer. Of course, in the olden days, it would never have been even dreamed of. Put in a three-quarter up there in the front, in the scrum.
There's the statistic about first half possession in the opening quarter an hour, and St. Helens, as I say, overwhelming odds against the Eagles on that particular statistic. Vital for them that they get back into this match, and quickly now. Sheffield Eagles. Aston perhaps one of the men who could do it for them. So too Maiko. That's a good ball out to David Plange. Plange just halted by the grab from Chris Joint.
Good play by Maiko and Gary Jack combining.
Now Powell. Farrell. The St. Helens supporters getting a little bit frustrated that their players aren't tackling, but the Eagles aren't making any progress for all of that. They might now with Farrell. No, it's good defence from Sullivan. Cook and Aston. Going on a run himself. Oh, that's great stuff. Powell was the man calling inside, looking for Carr, got to him eventually. Inventive play that from Aston and Powell. And it's Plans who hacks the ball ahead, and McCracken simply had to tap that ball out of play.
Excellent stuff by the Eagles, but what a wonderful piece of play by Mark Aston. The chip over, he knows he can't retrieve it fully, so he just pats it on there to Powell. That's a little touch of magic.
So the first real chance for the Eagles here. It's now with Maiko. Richard Price coming into acting half-back position. Here's Maguire.
Well, there was no way in the world that St. Helens were back the full 10 then. At the play before that.
Aston. Paul Carr directing traffic from acting half-back. Going on his own. Carr is over. Paul Carr. This tremendous scoring run of his continues. 5 tries in the last 3 before today. That's 6 now in Paul Carr's last 4.
Stone's bit of championship replay. The quick play of the ball from the dummy half has caught the St. Helens defence napping. That's great play by the Australian, the second rower. Good fend off there. O'Donnell couldn't get through to him, and you could see that the St. Helens defence had not moved forward. They were still going backward. There you can see, outside of Shane Cooper, they didn't move in, and that's a well-taken try. He may have made a mistake earlier, but he certainly made up for it by that. Good thinking, good 4 points.
So Mark Aston it is with the conversion attempt. How important for Sheffield Eagles' cause this conversion really is. Useful goal kicker, just steadying himself. Sheffield will be willing this one to go over the crossbar, and I think he's missed it. He has. So the score remains at St Helens 12 points, Sheffield Eagles 4. Exactly midway through this first half then, St Helens ahead by 12 points to 4, but Paul Carr's try just a few moments ago has perhaps signalled the start of the fight back.
Well, it certainly would have lifted their confidence, but it was good play there by Carr also. Just like a lot of Australians do down under, when he ran at that ball, he ran towards the referee, knowing full well that a man can't stand behind the referee. Well, he can if he wants, but it's not recommended. Quick thinking there.
Ball broad-bent. Aston. And was it forward? Well, no, referee says that they can get away with it. Lawton taking it on. There's Mark Aston again, such a busy player, the little Sheffield Eagles scrum half. Cook.
I just got the impression, Eddie, that some of these St Helens players were looking at the scoreboard and thinking, well, at 12-0, we can take things a bit easy. With full credit, they bounced back at the Eagles.
Oh, Paul Carr drops that. Cooper picks up the loose ball and then finds Alan Hunt. Hunt thought for a moment then the gap had appeared. He's able to take it to himself. No marker in front. That's good play from Alan Hunt. Now Rapati and Sonny Nicol. Two players disentangle themselves eventually. Jonathan Neal. George Mann. It's the last one. Rapati again. Gary Jack picks up the ball and then finds Gamson.
Good refereeing there by Stuart Cummins. He shouted to the St Helens players that they were all offside.
Not much to choose in the tackling department between these two sides, despite the fact that St Helens have seen so much possession. Obviously levelling itself up again now, just as it did on Friday, remember, in the match Wales and England. Ball comes free. Rapati has it. Knock on. One on each side. David Maiko, first of all, and then Rapati. So it was the first knock-on played. St Helens in possession with David Lyon.
Great tackle by Gary Jack, and it had to be. The gap was there.
Penalty against Sheffield Eagles. McCracken grounded. Maguire being spoken to by the referee.
Expected that Maguire went in a little bit later there, you can see it. Not a full flop, but half one. With Pike, perhaps.
So here comes St Helens again from the Eagles' quarter line. That's good play, the way they keep the ball alive. Cooper saw a little gap, and the Eagles were quick to shut him down. Can they stop Jonathan Neal? Well, they can, but they've made a bit of progress. They're only 8 metres short of the line now. O'Donnell, McCracken. That's how close St Helens are. Cooper, quick at the play of the ball. Nicol took it above head high, couldn't get across. Intense pressure this from St Helens, but good defence from Sheffield Eagles. Aston coming up with it. And now a chance for Sheffield to break. This is a great run from the winger Gamson. Eventually Sullivan wheels him in.
Oh, wonderful run by Gamson there. He just pushed off his opposite number, Anthony Sullivan, as though he, well, with so much ease.
Cook, Aston, and Dale Lawton, the prop forward. Now Cook again. He turned and looked for the support. The shout was from Powell.
Well, that's the difference between the two sides, really. St Helens really have support play, but Sheffield non-existent.
Mark Aston hoists the bomb. The tester for Lyon. Takes it in goal on the full.
Well, it's hard to decide, but full credit to Stuart Cummings. He was there. Look at the positioning of the referee. That was excellent. Not so sure that I agree with him.
And Kevin Ward has obviously battled his way across the Pennines through the fog. He's got here, and that means that Jonathan Neal comes off to be replaced by the local hero. Not so local, I suppose, when he lives in Castleford still, but he is a big favourite at Knowsley Road, Kevin Ward. And there he is, straight into the action, and immediately penalised for a high tackle on Gary Jack.
Didn't take him long to get into the action, did it? I think perhaps he may have got Chris Joint for the first one. Yes, it's Joint. Going above the shoulders. Anything above the shoulders will be penalised.
So it's going to be penalty to Sheffield Eagles. 26 minutes gone, 12-4. Long penalty attempt coming up from Mark Aston, right in centre field. But what, 20, 30, maybe 35, 36 metres out? Obviously fancies his chances. Missed the earlier conversion attempt, remember, after Paul Carr's try. He's given it good leather, but the direction all wrong. And it doesn't even run dead, so Alan Hunt can bring the ball out. And a high tackle.
Bruce Maguire. Well, there you can see on the replay. That's why our game is quite tough. If anything wants to set the marbles rolling around in the brain box, that certainly does.
Cooper then, and Jonathan Neal. Jonathan Neal off the field. That, of course, was John Harrison. And that's Kevin Ward, who came on for Neal, and penalty against him this time for holding down.
Bit of frustration there by Ward. He dropped the ball in the first place. They're not allowing him to get up and play the ball. The rule states that after doing the tackle, you have to roll away. Not on top, roll away from the man carrying the ball.
Dale Lawton for Sheffield. Nicol doing the tackling. Not forward, says referee Stuart Cummings.
You know, that's going to be a problem for the referees, Eddie. The mere fact that they've got to take them back to 10 yards means that they can't sort of referee from the play of the ball, which they do sometimes. But they're so intent on taking them back 10, they can't see whether it's slightly forward or not.
This is good stuff, though, from the Eagles. Good pressure from them. That's the last one. They're just 2 metres short, and they fancy the chances. But the referee says he didn't quite make it, the Eagles player. It's the loose forward, the second rower, rather, Carr, who was after his second try of the match. Now a big effort from Sheffield to keep St Helens down there. Here's Nicol. Good run.
You know, you've got to hand it to this Sheffield side. A lot of teams would have capitulated after a whirlwind start by the Saints, but they really have fought back, and that's a penalty. Although I suspect that Alan Hunt milked it for all it was worth. No, you can see also loose forward Anthony Farrell did flick him away. Nice dive though, wasn't it?
Like the dying swan, wasn't it? No, we've got the eagles out there, but tactic worked anyway.
Good to see though that the referees are continuing on with this edict to make our game a lot faster. That's what it's all about, entertainment. And we're certainly getting that today.
Harrison offloads in the tackle well. McCracken steaming up. Tackle Price. Low error count. O'Donnell and Cooper and Joint. Half an hour of this match gone. St Helens 12-0 up. Eagles with a try. It's 12-4. Certainly tightened things up. St Helens aren't cutting through them quite so easily now, but can they here with Connolly? Last one. Cooper, drop goal attempt from Cooper off the outside of the boot.
Well, that's one he'd want to watch on the video. Slice well and truly to the right. Miles off the mark.
Lawton now for Sheffield.
He's got through some work as this prop forward. Not the biggest of lads for the man up the front row, but he's certainly working hard.
Paul Carr, oh, now Paul Carr then, he almost released the pass just as he did earlier on in the game. Was penalised, and at the last minute I think he thought better of it. Possession is evening up a bit, as we suspected. Jack, good ball out to that far side. Michael just dabs it forward. And then he follows it up and wheels David Lyon in. A lot of diving going on at the play the ball as the players regain their feet.
It doesn't take the coaches long, does it, to work on something to your advantage?
Man, Ripati. McCracken couldn't hang on. Bounced forward.
That'll be offside. McCracken trying to take his eyes off the ball there. You could see it. Only just though. The big forward George Mann. Maybe an inch or two in front.
Farrell feeding the scrum now. There's Aston, the regular scrum half. That's Richard Price. This is David Maiko, and now David Plange. Aston again. Mick Cook. Thinks so much of him at the Don Valley. Was Gary Hetherington. Powell, an original Sheffield Eagle all those years ago. There he is again, Aston and Powell. Oh, that was good play from Broadbent. He surged into the gap, and Ripati was able to bring him down. The Eagles are finding their feet here. Gary Jack, high tackle, penalty.
Tia Ripati it was. It was an instinct tackle. See Gary Jack, it was the tackle further on actually that Ripati was penalised for.
So it's another penalty attempt coming in then in a moment from Mark Aston. Hasn't popped one over yet. Kicks like this, you know, so important, aren't they? Look at that total there, 0 from 2. If he'd landed those two, well, Sheffield really would be back in this with a vengeance. As it is, they still trail by 8 points. Can Mark Aston get himself off the mark with this one? Lower trajectory, and he misses again. 0 from 3, 6 points gone begging. None of them exactly what you would call easy, but so vital in a match like this that could end up quite tight come the end of the day.
You said it all there, Eddie.
He's done all right in his career, of course, Mark Aston. He's the only man who's ever scored 1,000 points for the club. But not kicking well so far today. Farrell scored a scintillating try, you may remember, in the opening match of the big league season on Sky against Wigan on that Friday, the start of September. Cook, long pass to Aston, another long one to Powell. A bit closer from Jack. No, McCracken went high, ball came free, but the referee says knock on.
The Australian
Maguire agrees.
Yeah, it's Australian Bruce Maguire, but I think that came off McCracken's arm. Probably could have been a little bit unlucky there for Sheffield. Pretty difficult for the referee to see.
McCracken and Bruce Maguire, who's now taken his place in that scrum. They were teammates at Canterbury Bankstown last season in Australia. It's amazing, though, when they put different jerseys on and they go in against each other. Take no prisoners. Wales and England proved that on Friday. Nicol gets to his feet eventually. Lyon, the dummy half. Cooper and Ward came on as a sub last week. Team tackles just about level pegging. George Mann. O'Donnell and Harrison.
Oh, it's strong running by the St. Helens forwards there. They're taking it up 3 rucks. They've gained about 30 yards.
And now it's the chance for the backs to do their work. McCracken, it's on the last tackle, and that will be the turnover.
Lovely tackle there by the centre, Richard Price, and it had to be as well. St. Helens had the overlap out wide.
Aston to Gary Jack. Quick, play the ball. That wasn't played properly, but he was being interfered with at the play. The ball was Mark Aston, so the penalty goes Sheffield's way.
The advantage of playing the ball quickly, no doubt about it, was ridden to the ground. But it all helps when you play that ball quickly. Kevin Ward could do nothing about that.
Kevin Ward on as a sub, as I was saying at Bradford last week, had a heck of a game. Really is involved. There he is again in the thick of the action. Farrell, strong run from the loose forward. Aston, good ball. Maguire, he dropped it. Referee says play on. It went back. Saints were waiting for the whistle, I think. This is the winger, Gamson. And now Carr and Cook. St. Helens are having to work overtime in defence here to keep them out. Gary Jack. Carr dabs the ball ahead. Don't know whether he was held back there as he chased his own kick forward.
Good play though by the Australian, neat kick through. Good play also by David Lyon, just squeezed back into the field of play. Sheffield certainly haven't thrown the towel in.
Oh, they forced a mistake there from Alan Hunt. Maguire all round him.
Well, Maguire, he pulled that ball out of him. That should have been a penalty for stealing the ball, surely.
This is Price, broad bent. It's all a little untidy, but it's effective nonetheless for Sheffield. The legs pumping from Paul Carr. Plange trying to burrow his way over on his own.
Surely Shane Cooper was offside then as well.
St Helens just hold him up. Paul Carr again. And O'Donnell quickly out. Plange trying to get up underneath the body of Nicol. They must surely now give it some air. Should they? It's Aston. And the ball runs dead. No, a couple of players collide with the wall there.
Good play by Mark Aston. Now, did Kevin Ward interfere with him? You're allowed to use your shoulder if you're running, but... Oh, well, it's hard to define there. Now, if you're both running in the same direction, you're allowed to shoulder charge. I got the impression that Ward used his arm to stop Aston getting through there. Let off for St Helens.
And everyone who collided with the wall, thankfully, is fit and able to carry on, but David Lyon has gone down in a crumpled heap with an ankle problem from that play of the ball. Nicol, meanwhile, carries it on.
Looks to be in a lot of pain, does the fullback David Lyon.
In stoppage time, St Helens with the 8-point advantage. A whirlwind start from the Saints. Ward just hanging on to that and then giving the possession away to Farrell, but the Sheffield loose forward couldn't hang on to it. Doesn't matter anyway. That's the half-time siren, and St Helens ahead by 12 points to 4. Great start from St Helens. Tira Party giving them the first try on the board, but Mark Aston's goal kicking just letting Sheffield Eagles down a touch. Saints 12, Eagles 4. Just about ready for the second half here at Nosey Road then. That's the way it looks at half-time. St Helens 12, Sheffield 4. Rapati and Connolly with the tries for Saints, 2 goals from Lyon. Paul Carr with the try for Sheffield Eagles. And Mark Aston hasn't found the mark yet with the kicking as far as the Eagles are concerned. Match facts from that first half. Team tackles, nothing to choose between the two. Scrums all square. Penalties 6-5 in St Helens' favour. Handling errors, the Saints have made 6 to the Eagles 3. And possession has swung dramatically in the Eagles' favour. 53% to 47% for St Helens, but remember, early in that first half, it was way the other way. Mark Aston facing St Helens here at Nosey Road for the first time. He's been injured every time Sheffield have played here in the past. Club record point scorer of 307 in 1988-89. 35 goals so far this season, but he's missed 3 today, which obviously would have closed the gap considerably. And I hope that Aston and the Sheffield Eagles don't rue those missed kicks come the end of this match. Second half then at Nosey Road. St Helens ahead by 12 points to 4. And the Saints have got no David Lyon at full-back. Alan Hunt is operating there. And Jonathan Griffiths, who played for Wales, of course, on Friday night, has come on as a substitute in this second half. Passed a fitness test just before the kick-off on an ankle injury. And Griffiths is taking his place on the wing at the moment.
That's probably the right move by coach Mike McLennan, as Tira Party and Shane Cooper have been combining quite well in that first 40 minutes.
There's Cooper, now Kevin Ward. And it's the 5th tackle for St Helens. And O'Donnell drives the kick, punches it towards the corner.
Good kick here by the hooker O'Donnell. Didn't have much time, went into the dummy half, knew exactly what was going to do. Picked his mark perfectly.
Sheffield Eagles only their 3rd season in the top flight, their 9th season in operation. And they've made a start to the season this time that not even they themselves, I think, would have dared hope for. But they are having to come from behind here this afternoon against Saints if they get any reward. Something they've never ever done. They've never won here at Knowsley Road in the past. Paul Carr, scorer of that try for them in the first half. Gary Jack now clips the ball downfield. Sullivan is there to pick it up. They've certainly tightened their defence, haven't they, Sheffield Eagles, after that 12-0 start that St Helens got in the opening 10 minutes, quarter of an hour.
Yeah, the first 15 minutes they were really all at sea. But St Helens were playing the ball a lot quicker than what you're seeing now. And that's the one way to catch a defence on the hop, is to play very quickly indeed, especially now that the referees are taking them back 10 yards.
St Helens in possession with George Mann. This is O'Donnell, now Cooper and Rapati. Maguire eventually hauls him down with a little help from Darryl Powell. Last one, Saints only just in that Sheffield half of the field. Cooper was grabbed as he made that kick, and it went all awry.
Well, there'll be the handover. That was on the last. Kicked out on the full. Sheffield to play the ball.
Sheffield with a blank weekend next weekend because they're already out of the Regal Trophy. St Helens going for silverware in everything that rugby league can throw at them at the moment. Finalists in the Lancashire Cup, aiming for the championship, and they have the Regal Trophy tie against Featherstone Rovers next weekend. Gary Jack. So Saints going steaming ahead on all fronts. The Eagles with just the championship to concern themselves with for the moment, and making a great break here with Powell. Oh, it's a wonderful run from Powell. Farrell's there, and Farrell scores. Put that down to Darryl Powell. It was his run. St Helens took a huge dummy, and Farrell was there in support.
Stone's bit of championship replay will show Powell. This is the big chemist shop window job, this. Look at that dummy. It was the hooker, Augustine O'Donnell, that took it. Hook, line and sinker. Good step inside. It was Cooper who was on the sweep. And good support play by the loose forward, Anthony Farrell. Talented player, this. But you will see Aston onto Powell. Uses Farrell as a dummy. Throws it. O'Donnell takes it. Thank you very much indeed. Good step there. You saw how Powell just slowed things down. Farrell just held back at the right moment. Excellent football.
And Mark Aston now has the chance to add the extra two. And he has been successful this time. So the gap is narrowed to just 2 points. St Helens 12, Sheffield Eagles 10. Good start from Sheffield Eagles. The thing that always impresses me about players, Mike, is whenever they have time, and Darryl Powell then showed he had so much time, was able to engineer that try for Anthony Farrell with the dummy, and then as he was running, he was looking round left and right. Mark of, for me, a great player.
Well, of course, you make your own time in this game, and the Stars certainly do that. But it was the way that he made that break, didn't rush onto it, didn't rush towards Shane Cooper. In fact, he slowed down just to see how far Cooper could slide across, and at that vital moment steps inside.
So Sheffield Eagles with just the start they wanted to the start of this second half. St Helens beaten finalists in the Lancashire County Cup, of course, and Sheffield Eagles, I'm reminded, beaten finalists in the County Cup across the Pennines in Yorkshire. But they are a different side, Sheffield Eagles, than when last they were in the First Division. No easy meet this time, are they?
Yeah, that's for sure. In fact, they've set their sights on a good position in the league. It's not a matter of just, oh, and there's a penalty. David Maiko it was. There we see Jonathan Griffiths, and that's the flopper. Only a half flop, but they count. Surely they'll learn.
So play now is on halfway with St Helens. Party finds George Mann. Party at dummy half. Kevin Ward. Driving run from Ward. Suddenly St Helens, I think, realise that they are in a bit of a contest here.
Well, they certainly have to pick themselves up, especially in the defensive department. Quite often when they go into a lead, they can go to sleep.
This is Cooper. And now Connolly. His options closed down by Sheffield. George Mann releases the ball somewhat fortunately. Connolly is onto it. Griffiths was seeking the opportunity on his outside. Good run from Harrison. St Helens dragging themselves towards that Sheffield Eagles line. There's Ward. Twisting and turning into the last one. Alan Hunt. They're going to go out wide. Ball bounces once. Joint is there. Joint has given it to Rapati. And Sheffield come up with it. Good defence again.
Excellent play by the Australian second row, Maguire. He came at the back and just dumped him. He didn't see him coming. Scrambling defence by Sheffield.
It's good stuff from the Eagles, but that ball went to ground, and the referee says it was a knock-on.
Wow, that really is a bad mistake by Sheffield. Really, that was to just play the ball. I don't know where they got the knock-on from out of there. Bit of confusion. Lady Luck not on the Sheffield Eagles side.
He seemed to play it right, but he was being challenged, wasn't he, by two St Helens players at the time. I don't think he could so easily have gone the other way with this reinforcement of the rule surrounding the play the ball. St Helens won't argue if they get over from this. Harrison. They're 10 metres short. And the St Helens crowd getting impatient. Ward taking a hand. Cooper. Rapati picks it up off his toes. Mann, quick hands, good stuff. Long ball out to the far side. Griffiths! Super sub Griffiths! Try from Jonathan Griffiths, but Gary Connolly is motioning for the physio to come on immediately to treat the Welshman. Bravery from him as he went for that try, and by the looks of things he's injured the shoulder, but he's got the four-pointer.
Excellent play by the Welshman on the Stones bit of championship replay. It was Cooper that got the ball out wide. Rapati swing it away. Excellent run around. Rapati sends a looping pass. Didn't he do well? Steps inside. Oh, he dropped the ball there. For mine, he released the ball. We'll see it better. He took that well there. The run around with George Mann. Looping ball. But if I'm not mistaken, I thought he dropped that ball just for a split second. A good play, steps inside, plans. This is where I think he releases it. Oh-ho!
We'll give him the benefit of the doubt, I think.
Perhaps he had the little finger on the leather.
Referee was perfectly positioned anyway. And not only his... it should actually be, I think that is fifth try of the season, because of course he scored two now this weekend, but Rapati has added the extras. Tia Rapati, big smile on his face, kicks one off the touchline. Jonathan Griffiths' second try of the weekend. He scored on Friday, remember, for Wales against England. And the substitute, Griffiths, with that shoulder injury, is coming off, and Jonathan Neal is coming on. So two Jonathan swap places. But Jonathan Griffiths rather only just passed fit to play before this game, and now he has to go off injured. Late whistle from the referee. It was a knock-on behind St Helens' own try line, direct from the kick-off.
Yeah, Sullivan made a meal of this one. The referee did right. He wanted to make sure with his touch judge. But a bad mistake there. Jonathan Griffiths, though, he wasn't on for long, but it could prove to be very vital. The 4 points that he's just scored.
This is Maguire. Sheffield, having thought that they had got themselves right back in with a chance here, now have it all to do again. The gap is back to 8 points. Aston taking the return pass from Powell. Here's Farrell. Anthony Farrell running straight at Ward. Must have been like running into a brick wall. Cook finds Darryl Powell again. Aston out to the far side. Little chip ahead. And Sullivan has to shepherd the ball dead. Good thinking and good play from Mark Gamson, that.
Yeah, good play also by Sullivan. He realised he was under a lot of pressure, had to get his fingers to it. And I think it's Shane Cooper that actually tripped up. He went over on the ankle. He was moving away in defence, moving up. This is the action where Sullivan got to it. Good play there by the winger. But as that was going on, it was Cooper that went over on his ankle. No one near him.
Paul Carr, the acting halfback. Sheffield Eagles coming back again strongly. Aston to Powell. Powell waiting for the little gap to open up for Broadbent. Broadbent is hauled back by Harrison. McCracken in there too. Maguire from dummy half. Powell. Aston. Long pass to Farrell. They're in here. Farrell through two. Oh, now it's double movement. No. Try he's given. He's given the try. It looked for all the world like a double movement, that. The crowd at St Helens think so too, but Farrell won't be arguing. His second of the match.
Stones for the championship replay. Good play by Maguire. Keeping the ball alive. The crowd are booing. It was Powell that sent the long ball out wide. Aston. A looping run there by Farrell. Good play through the dummy. Connolly took it. He's down. That is double. No doubt in my mind. You won't be able to convince the referee or the press tomorrow. As they say, the 4 points are in print. Read the newspaper. But that is a double movement. Lady Luck has shined on the sea, on the Eagles, should I say.
Anthony Farrell then, his second try of this second half. The St Helens crowd are giving Mr Cummings a bit of a roasting for that decision. But Mark Aston now has the chance to get them back in this match again. And it just scrapes the post. So 18-14.
Well, a lot of controversy surrounding this, but the build-up to it was excellent. Long ball by Maguire. Powell it was onto Aston, and this is the way to run. Look at that. You could see that Rapati had gone for the dummy. Excellent play, but that's double movement.
So an element of controversy about that second try from Anthony Farrell. And they're now, the St Helens crowd, trying to get at Mr Cummings every time, every opportunity. That was definitely off the knees of Mark Gamson. It's 18-14.
Well, if Sheffield get away with the 2 points here, the St Helens crowd will have plenty to talk about. And interesting, Eddie, that the referee Stuart Cummings was in a good position to see that.
As he was for the try from Griffiths that he allowed.
He certainly had a clear view.
And was that forward? Yes. This time to the ironic cheers of the popular stand here at St Helens.
Well, Maiko sends a ball there to Plange. Wasn't much in it, but just enough to perhaps appease this rowdy St Helens crowd that are still buzzing over that controversial try.
O'Donnell, and the word from the bench is that the two St Helens substitutes will not play any further part in this match. Griffiths has his arm in a sling, Jonathan Griffiths, the Welshman.
Interesting to see there that O'Donnell has come out of the scrum. He's been put into the pivot role in the number 6 position.
And Paul Carr is limping away too, so Sheffield Eagles have their problems. Good ball released in the tackle to Tiarapati. Kevin Ward driving his way to the line. Brushed off a couple of high challenges. St Helens with Cooper. Just hauled back. It's the last one. George Mann. Rapati, that suddenly opened up for Rapati. He scored the try. And Darryl Powell leads the protest about that decision too. So both sides are feeling aggrieved, but Rapati got the ball down.
Well, a Stones Bit of Championship replay will show the ball goes out wide. Now Sheffield just held off him. He threw a little dummy really, but there was no one there. He got it down, there's no doubt about that. Man at the dummy half. Look, there's no one there. He just threw a little dummy and moved in. Maiko and Plange were nowhere to be seen. He spins round. That's a fair try. Where are the defence? Maiko it was that held back. He got it down.
So Rapati, his second of the afternoon. Unlucky for some now this season. And he kicked one off the touchline not long ago. This one's about 12, 13 metres infield. And the kicking at the end of the day could well hold the key to victory here. So far, St Helens have kicked 3 from 3. And Sheffield just 1 from 5 attempts. Make that 3 from 4 for St Helens. St Helens 22 then, Sheffield Eagles 14, just 59.5 minutes or thereabouts on the watch. St Helens 22, Sheffield Eagles 14 then. Match is far from over. Sheffield have come back twice in this second half now and got to within shooting range as far as St Helens are concerned. But Saints have shown their pedigree too. They have continued to force the pace and edge themselves in front.
Well, it was 2 wonderful runs by the forwards, especially Kevin Ward, the substitute. He really did drive in at this Sheffield defence. Made 20 metres. Those 2 runs.
Here's Alan Hunt. Hunt, who needs just 1 try for the century. And here's Kevin Ward.
He loves it when it's tough going, doesn't he?
Mick Cook receiving a word or 2 of wisdom from Mr. Ward as Gary Jack picks this one up 10 metres from his own line. That's good tackling though by Sonny Nicol.
And also a great kick by O'Donnell. That's the type of thing that they will be doing now. They're in the hot seat. They're leading 22-14. And when you're 8 points in front, the kicking game comes to the fore.
Second half possession. Sheffield have seen more of it. St Helens still hold the advantage on the scoreboard though, 22-14.
Sheffield quite happy to keep plugging away, trying to find that break in and around at the play the ball area.
Aston hoists the bomb. Cooper gets it and drops it. And it's 6 to go for Sheffield. Good pressure that. As Cooper caught it, he was immediately hit. And this is Gary Jack. And the substitute, Ian Hughes. Maguire, the dummy half. Ooh, big collision then. And referee Cummings says Ward caught him high. The prop forward, Dale Lawton.
Well, he was falling into it, wasn't he? And there's Kevin Ward saying that I hit him on the shoulder on the replay. Looks like his shoulder has now gone 6 inches higher into the gum region.
Kevin Ward, a picture of discontentment, I think.
It's pretty hard to put a shoulder pad in your mouth.
Mark Aston then, to try and improve that kicking statistic. 1 from 5. Is far more central. Again he misses. Oh, well, Mark Aston has certainly not brought his kicking boots with him, and I think he knows better than most. Maiko is there with 17 goals this season in 4. I wonder whether the word will come from Gary Hetherington to give David Maiko a shot next time they get an attempted goal, the Eagles. Good tackle meanwhile on Jack from Hunt. Hunt in there again on Farrell. Mick Cook. Now he's giving it to Hughes.
Well, they'll have to give the ball to Maiko if they get the chance again for a goal kick. Because these misses are just eroding the psychological advantage.
Knock on.
Well, Aston can't believe it, and rightly so. If he's not been interfered with there, oh, dearie me. And that is another problem, I'm afraid, that referees are going to have to look at, because they've been too intent of ensuring that the defending side are going back those 10. They're perhaps missing a lot of things at the play the ball area. They've only got 2 eyes.
Penalty at the scrum.
Sometimes I wish they had 8.
Harrison. George Mann and Cooper. Big Jonathan Neal. Harrison again. Cooper again. Ward. He's warming to the task, I think, Kevin Ward. He's found George Mann. And the referee has pinned Sheffield Eagles.
Well, Mark Aston here trying to swing, but suggesting to the referee that it was George Mann running at him with the elbow. You can see it. Aston was just trying to get out of the way and swing the arm round it. Hard one for the referee to decide upon, but it goes the St. Helens way. Another bit of breathing space for the Saints.
65 minutes gone. 22-14. It'll be 24-14 if Rapati kicks this goal. He's got 1 from 2. David Lyon, before he went off injured, 2 out of 2. Rapati gets 2 points. St. Helens' lead increases again. It's 24 points to 14.
And well, he might smile. Thierry Rapati realises that slowly but surely they're hammering that nail into the Sheffield coffin, but they will not give up, I can assure you, the Eagles. They're a talented side.
St. Helens on course then for the double here over Sheffield Eagles this season, having won at the Don Valley Stadium in September 18-10.
And it was a game, Eddie, that the Sheffield side felt that they could have won. St Helens even admitted that they were very fortunate to come away from there with 2 points.
Here's Kevin Ward. That's the 5th time. And this now is Rapati. Party over the top, good kick, good deep kick.
A lovely play by the New Zealander there. He gave himself space with a step, kicked well over the top of Gary Jack, forcing the Sheffield Eagles backwards.
Good tactics. Maguire takes the tackle. And just remembering that match at the Don Valley, it was the goal kicking that let Sheffield Eagles down that day. Poor old Mark Aston didn't get his sights in then, and he certainly hasn't got them in here at Knowsley Road this afternoon.
Well, it's getting to the point now where the Sheffield Eagles, that on desperation stakes, must start taking a few more risks. Oh, and the lights had a bit of a dip then. Floodlights, we nearly was all in darkness.
The man must have fallen off the cycle. It's all right, though. We all breathe a sigh of relief. The lights stay on and pick out that good kick downfield by Aston.
Didn't put him off, did it?
It's a kicking game in general play, up to scratch, but I hate to labour the point, but the kicking from the dead ball situations, penalties and conversions, not all that it might have been. If they'd only kicked a proportion of those, Eagles could well have been in the lead here.
It's really all about consolidation now by St Helens. Playing it very tight to their chest, not risking the passes, ensuring that they use the long kick downfield.
Now Cooper and Kevin Ward. Last one. Not giving up the ghost, are they, the Eagles? They're defending well. But good kicking game from Sheffield. Gary Jack just juggling with it. Now has he the speed to get away from Rapati? He didn't need it. He gave the ball to Plange instead. Farrell coming into dummy half. Here's Richard Price. Sheffield Eagles are preparing to introduce Tim Lunn to the proceedings. Former Hunslet scrum half. That's Gary Jack who finds David Plange. Plange fancies a run at Cooper. Great tackling from the St Helens captain.
Good play by Plange coming inside, but Cooper, what a great tackle.
Powell over the top. Broadbent clattered as he received it. Now Aston and Maguire. It's the centre, David Maiko. And on the last tackle, St Helens defences stand firm, and it's the turnover.
Good scrambling defence, but excellent play by Sheffield. They use that move a lot, where they use the two dummy forwards running through, and the long spinning pass from Powell and Aston. Remember, it came off quite well when the loose forward Anthony Farrell scored. And it does split the defence. They're not out of it yet, Sheffield.
Harrison now. They aren't out of it, Sheffield. 10 points is the difference, and 10 minutes to play, or thereabouts. Ward. Oh, he's got such strength, Kevin Ward, hasn't he? But he released the ball, and perhaps that wasn't the right thing to do on that occasion. This is Gamson. Now they're lining up across the field here, Eagles, but they'll have to be careful. Oh, it's risky business.
Well, they've got to keep it alive. 10 points behind. They've got to just keep trying everything.
No point shutting it down. Gary Jack won't be shutting it down.
But as you mentioned, Eddie, it was a poor pass there by Kevin Ward at a time when he didn't have to release it.
Farrell. He has such strength too, does Anthony Farrell. This now is Mick Cook. That's the St Helens quarter line. Good run that was. Morton. Gary Jack. Aston. Hughes Powell, oh, it was a forward pass anyway. Maguire was charging through, but it would have been pulled for a forward pass.
Well, the idea was there. That's the sort of thing that they've got to try. I've seen many of those just can't continue it on. The referee has let it go. This time it went to ground. A nice little move there. Aston trying to bring on that big second rower, Australian Maguire. Is this the last throw of the dice for Sheffield?
And Dale Lawton is coming off, injured, limping his way to the touchline. Tim Lum comes on. Lum, the former Hunslet man, signed after a loan spell. Usually a scrum half, but he can play hooker, and has been doing so recently when he's replaced Mick Cook. But he's the sort of inventive little player, Tim Lum, who could just produce something extra special for Sheffield Eagles. First of all, they've got to get the ball back off St Helens, of course. That looked a high one.
Yeah, but that's the type of play that they'll be looking for. Jonathan Neal there. Kevin Ward. Oh, he's got it away this time.
Great stuff. Cooper finds Nicol. It's the last tackle. And Eagles not allowing Nicol to regain his feet.
Well, you see, it's Bruce Maguire. You must come away. You can't stand over the top of the man. You have to get away from him.
The party decides not to kick for goal from that range. St Helens will continue this attack with Harrison. And Sheffield have seen plenty more of the football than St Helens this half. But St Helens have made better use of it, and they're doing just that now. The 10 metres short. Cooper is the dummy half. Here's Ward. Like a human battering ram, isn't he? Kevin Ward. Maguire can't get out of the way. And this is a good break from George Mann. They're 2 metres short. Sonny Nicol against his former club. He's in. Try. The man signed from Sheffield in July 1991. His 6th try of the season.
Stones bit of championship replay. Good play here by Sonny Nicol, showing the good upper body strength. Here he comes steaming onto it. But watch him push with the legs. That was the man made it. He got it on the line. That counts. Running with all venom here. But that push on the legs, there you could just see the last little bit. That was enough. Right on the line. He looks to the referee. And the referee gives the 4 points.
Be delighted with that, adding to the try he scored against his former club at the Don Valley Stadium in September. Well, that could just see St Helens home now. 28-14. 5 to go. And Rapati with the kicking responsibilities as David Lyon is off and injured. It's on its way. It's good. Every time he kicks one, his face comes back and he's wreathed in smiles. 30 points to 14. Looks like St Helens are going to keep up the pressure on Wigan at the top of the table.
Well, it's been a hard-fought win for Saints. They got off to a whirlwind start, 12-0. All credit to Sheffield, they bounced back. They really have had to fight for it, St Helens.
They've just announced the man of the match here at Knowsley Road, and the decision has gone to the Kiwi, who you just saw kicking the goal, Tia Rapati. There he is, just running through in front of George Mann. Mann swatting the challengers away, still going Mann, releasing the pass to Cooper. There's the man of the match, Rapati. Not the man of the match's tackle, pass.
No, but when they can afford to keep this ball alive. But what a great run by Mann. They're relentless, aren't they? Pretty hard when you get guys like Jonathan Neal, George Mann, Kevin Ward coming at you. It wears the defence down.
They're still going strongly, though, the Eagles. Not giving it up yet. Powell. Ball turned infield to Price. Timlum. Aston, short ball. Broadbent, good support. Maguire finds Maiko, but a great tackle from Alan Hunt.
Oh, he read that well, didn't he? Ball and all tackle, try saver, and that's wasted.
Aston's pass. Powell steamed onto it. Saints want to get on with this quickly with Sullivan, as the Sheffield Eagles defence is regrouping. They can't bring him down. Well, they say, says the referee, that he was down, and he should not have got back up to his feet.
Well, it must have been fingertip control, but I couldn't see it. His momentum certainly wasn't stopped. Bit unlucky there, he had clear ground ahead of him.
Plenty for this crowd, Mike, and the viewers at home to discuss tonight. One or two controversial moments, one or two decisions going one way and then the other. Lum. And that pass went to ground, but Anthony Farrell got on to the end of it. Scored 2 tries himself today, Farrell. Aston and Gary Jack. Cutting in field, Jack, oh, under the post. That's a good try from the Australian. Underneath the posts, perhaps a little late, but a great try.
Stone's bit of championship replay, never say die attitude. Aston, they've done this move a lot, switching back inside. Gary Jack, and you can see the St Helens defence, they did not move up. That is a good try, but it will not have pleased the St Helens coach, Mike McLennan. As I say, Sheffield, they use the angles well, the switches back inside. It results in 4 points, but all too late. Clever player is Aston, you'll see the man coming, but you can see that the defence there, they stand off him. Goes round Ward, it's too late. Nice individual try.
It might be his 3rd of the season. It's his first in the big league. His previous attempts have come in the Yorkshire Cup and against Australia. And the kick this time successful from bang in front by Mark Aston. So we're right on time here. We're into stoppage time almost. And St Helens 30, Sheffield Eagles 20. And there is the final siren. Match over. St Helens with 2 points to their credit. Tia Rapati and George Mann, 2 Kiwis, the stars of the show. Rapati, man of the match, 2 tries and some good kicking from him. Saints have won. They keep up the pressure on Wigan at the top. St Helens maintain the pressure at the top of the table then. 30 points to 20. They've beaten Sheffield Eagles here. 2 tries from Tia Rapati and 3 goals from the Kiwi. needless to say, he was named the man of the match, and afterwards I spoke to him. St Helens man of the match, Tia Rapati. Tremendous display from you, Tia, personally, but what about the team? You know, you looked as though you were going to walk it after that opening quarter of an hour, but you had to fight.
Yeah, quite right, Eddie. We come out and we wanted to get off to a good start, and we did. You know, we were 12 points right at the very start of the game, and things are looking pretty good for us. But as you say, they fought back. All credit to them. You know, they done well.
They did do well. They made a fight of it. But St Helens, you've maintained the pressure on Wigan at the top. It's all down to Boxing Day, isn't it, or the day after? Yeah, well, we're trying to. You know, we've had a couple of slip-ups lately, and we're back on the track now. So yeah, like you say, we've got to keep the pressure on Wigan, and it's going to be a crucial game come Christmas time. You've got to beat them, haven't you, here? Yeah, we've got to beat them, really, if we want to be champions this year. And all the lads are really determined to get it, to bring that championship to Knowsley Road. We've got to beat them. Match facts from this game against Sheffield Eagles. Team tackling, well, it was pretty even Steven all the way through. Scrums going St Helens way 8-5, 10-7 in the penalties, and handling errors. They made 2 more than the Eagles. But the possession, well, not too much to choose between the two sides overall. So St Helens winning then by 30 points to 20. And a question for Mike Stevenson tonight. Just how good, Mike, do you think this St Helens side is?
Well, they really will not be able to match it with Wigan unless they can do it for the full 80 minutes. They raced away to a 12-0 lead, and quite frankly, a top-class side should have well and truly buried Sheffield. And they went to sleep, and Sheffield, much to their credit, they fought back, but they should never have been allowed to.
Well, there was one crucial moment, perhaps both for St Helens and Wales in the weeks ahead, when Jonathan Griffiths came off the substitutes bench in the second half and then scored a try, but in doing so, he was badly injured. Looks like a dislocated shoulder here, doesn't it?
Yeah, it was a pretty awful pass from Rapati. He took it in well, but there you can see the weight of the Sheffield defenders coming on top. And that could prove a very bitter blow to the St Helens side, because they also lost David Lyon at full back.
Yes, Lyon with an ankle problem, and Griffiths, as I say, he would be wanted by Wales in a couple of weeks' time in France. They'll be keeping a close eye on that situation. So, Wigan, you still think, Mike, the team to beat?
Without a doubt. I think that the first 15 minutes, perhaps I would have been a little bit happier about St Helens making a big challenge. But they just went to sleep, and every now and again they make silly mistakes. It's very rare you find Wigan doing that sort of thing.
The rest of the results then in the Stones Bidder Championship. In the First Division, Castleford 30, Bradford Northern 22, Hull 42, Salford 10, Warrington 7, Leigh 7, and Wigan 48, Hull Kingston Rovers 18. The top of the table, Wigan and St Helens now with a 4-point lead, but Castleford's charge is picking up pace. 5 wins in a row now, Bradford's 3rd successive defeat. Down at the bottom, Hull Kingston Rovers have lost again, and Leigh have picked up their 2nd successive draw. Those two level now on 4 points. Into Division 2, Carlisle 14, Featherstone 38, Huddersfield 18, London Crusaders 14, Rochdale 62, Bramley 22, Swinton 12, Oldham 18. Huddersfield then have moved into the top 4. Featherstone and Oldham and Rochdale, though, all won today above them. Into Division 3, Chorley 12, Workington 29, Doncaster 34, Blackpool 14, Highfield 14, Hunslet 36, Nottingham 2, Dewsbury 78, Rydale York 14, Keighley 16, Whitehaven 38, Barrow 6. So Rydale York, they hang on to the top spot, but they lose at home for the first time this season to Keighley, and Doncaster in 8th place. They got their first win under new coach Tony Fisher, who moved into the hot seat on Monday. That's it then from St Helens. Next Friday, it's the 2nd State of Origin battle between New South Wales and Queensland. A week later, we're at Halifax against Wigan, the league leaders. That's Friday week on December the 11th. So hope you'll join us at Halifax then.
The Stones Bidder Championship, taking rugby into a different league.